everyone, I'm Laura Myers for CMS-Connected, and today I get to speak with Karol Jarkovsky, Director of Product at Kentico Software. You may remember we had an interview with him from the 404 conference in Las Vegas just earlier this month to discuss Kentico Cloud, and today he and I get to have a conversation all about the new Kentico 10 release. Hello Karol, how are you?
Hi Laura, thank you. I'm doing pretty well.
We are so glad to have you with us on CMS Connected for a second time to discuss another exciting release from Kentico.
Absolutely, I'm glad I got an opportunity. Thank you.
I'll jump into my first question for you. What is it you're trying to achieve with Kentico 10, and how would you characterize this new release?
Sure. So our vision for Kentico 10 is to help increase an adoption of Kentico digital experience platform by providing really a superior usability, because as it's turned out, there are too many users that are frustrated and overwhelmed with overly complex tools. And these users are frustrated, simply because they struggle to get advertised benefits out of the CMS solution they pick. And so to deal with this problem, we built Kentico 10 as a tool set that both developers and marketers love to use on daily basis because it's intuitive, and most importantly, it aligns with their way of working.
It's great to see that you're really focusing on the user perspective and using that to really drive this next phase.
Yeah, that's what we always try to do. Yeah.
That actually leads into my next question about the market. So what problems have you seen that this new release is focused on addressing?
Sure. So we conducted our own research, and we found out that no matter whether you speak to a developer, or is it a content editor you talk to, or marketer, on the highest level, all these three roles are struggling with one of the following. It's either the fact they don't not experience increase in productivity, which, as I'm going to talk a little bit later about, is very important piece. The fact that CMS fails to deliver enough context for businesses to achieve their goals is the second thing. And the third is the fact that CMS doesn't scale as needed, or if it does, it just costs too much. And so you could say these are the main market problems that we decided to address in Kentico 10.
That said, what are the top solutions contained in Kentico 10?
So there are essentially these three main focus areas that we invested into. So for each area, I can provide an example or two. So the first and foremost, it's an area of productivity. As I mentioned, if you guys keep an eye on market research, the recent research from Glanster actually shows that 75% or 80% of organizations expect reduction in content management costs when they implement CMS, right? And that's pretty significant number. So the problem is that most of the existing CMS tools do not enable the users to be more productive. And in fact, our research, the research that we conducted, shows that users often really struggle with simple tasks. For example, when they need to publish a content that is supposed to contain some kind of an image asset, it may easily take, on average, anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes for content authors to get the right image for the content. But then once they have the image, to optimize it for a device, for the right delivery channel, layout, all those kind of things. And so the first solution that I would like to point out that we are delivering Kentico 10 is responsive images management, which allows users to predefine specific image variants. So you instruct the system what variants you want to get created. You just select and upload an image you want to use, and the system automatically generates all those different variants without any additional work, essentially. So that's the area of productivity. The other thing that I mentioned earlier was the context. So here, the context means something that relates to the three goals that we believe marketers are struggling with the most these days. And that's number one, converting contact to customers, increasing the value from existing customers, and then providing the ROI for marketing activities. And the thing here is that sometimes it just takes, a fair bit of tweaking of marketing campaigns. You typically need to go through multiple loops, the fail, learn, improve loop, right? Similar to lean startup methodology, but for marketers, where if they want to do better in achieving their goals, they have to be able to learn. And again, unfortunately, the many marketing tools that are available today, they won't let you make changes to running campaign. When you start finally learning something new, you want to tweak the campaign based on your findings, you are actually forced to conclude the whole campaign first, which means you're losing data that you collected up to that point, and so on. And you have to create a new campaign, wait for new data to be collected, and so on. And so this is the second big improvement that and problem that we decided to address in Kentico 10. We built a campaign management that allows marketers to make those changes to running campaigns on the fly, without losing any kind of data. So that way they just make the changes and they can almost instantly see what impact it has at their campaigns. And the one thing that I would add to the campaign piece is that we also added the feature that we call the campaign journey tracking. It's a type of analytics that allows marketers to see which particular step of their campaign gets the biggest visitors dropout. So they know exactly where the optimization that I was talking about needs to happen, and that allows them to learn and improve much faster. So that's the second thing. And the last thing, to answer your question, is the area of scalability. I think that everyone watching our conversation would probably agree that a typical digital strategy of organizations that are using CMS tools like Kentico is slowly maturing, and requires running a CMS solution that is powerful enough to work with those data sets that are larger than ever. And that's exactly why we made Kentico 10 the most scalable Kentico release in its history, especially with online marketing scalability that is being pushed significantly higher than Kentico 9 or any of the previous versions, with more than 100 million contacts and 1 billion activities. We really don't see any project too big for Kentico 10. So a long answer to simple questions, but hopefully that provides everyone a better idea what the Kentico 10 is about.
You're really pinpointing the characteristics of the common marketer, how you know their desire to learn and to utilize data in real time and to tweak a campaign accordingly. It sort of brings to mind the loop that marketers would like to operate in, with the ability to deploy, observe, adjust, deploy again, and so on.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you could see me just lighting up as you're explaining those new capabilities, because my mind was just percolating with all these ideas.
That's great. That's great.
So what's next for Kentico EMS now that version 10's out? What would you say are the next plans for Kentico 11?
Yeah, exactly as you said. Basically, the end of development cycle for Kentico 10 means that a new development cycle starts for Kentico 11. In terms of priorities, we are planning a new release in iterations. So, while I can't see till the end of the last iteration, I can share the priorities that I see we're going to work next, so in the nearest term. And in terms of priorities, even though that the Kentico EMS comes with built-in e-commerce solution, and it will see some improvements in Kentico 11, there are always organizations that want to use standalone best-of-breed e-commerce solutions instead, because it makes sense in many cases. And so we see a huge opportunity to provide integrations with those best-of-breed B2B and B2C e-commerce solutions, because if you look at the e-commerce solutions in the mid-market space especially, they are missing a mature, stable, the flexible CMS solution that would match their e-commerce functionality very well. So we plan to work with market leaders in that space on delivering the optimal solutions for those organizations that are looking for the best of both, so CMS and e-commerce. And then we'll obviously continue investing into usability of our solution. We always see that superior usability as a differentiator of Kentico comparing to other solutions. And so things like data visualization, improve data visualization to make sure that the marketers can do more in less time with Kentico. We are looking at providing better ways of building marketing emails with our email marketing solution, marketing dashboards that will enable to enable marketers to make faster and more accurate decisions. Those are priorities for the nearest iteration of the new release.
That's such great momentum for the company. It's like the ink is barely dry on the release of Kentico 10, and there are already so many ideas for the next release. It's great for consumers too to know that there's always something new and improved coming down the pipe.
Yeah, you have to be doing that in our industry, because with all the technologies that are just popping up everywhere every month, you have to make sure that you are agile, that you are flexible, that you can, invest in areas that at that particular time makes the most sense. So,
I completely agree. I really want to thank you again for joining us. You're very knowledgeable, but explain it in a way that's very straightforward. And as you can see, you already piqued my interest with these new capabilities. So I'm really looking forward to the future for Kentico and hope we can chat again as things evolve.